I wake up the next morning at 5:30 a.m. to a text message from this woman, and it says, "Please delete my name from the comments saying that you went on a date with me on your Facebook." And we're not Facebook friends. I don't know who tipped her off or why. Apparently, it's seen as like a terrible outcome for people to know that you've gone on a date with me. I'm gonna put it out here right now, ladies. If you are an attractive woman and you have either gone on a date with me or you are potentially considering going on a date with me, you are not in select company. So don't feel bad that you've gone on a date with me. Like, what the literal fuck?
Conversations like these really make me wish that we YouTubed our shit.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Menage-A-Pod, the hysterical comedy podcast about sex, dating, and relationships. I'm TJ. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, BFF, and my podcast life partner, Gena. What's up?
Hello.
Hi, friend.
It's been so long since I've seen you.
It is.
I don't like it.
But at least we both have antibodies.
We do. Yes. I know. I feel like a superhero now. I was like, can I just go lick things outside that I'm not supposed to? Or people?
Oh, I see what you did there.
I mean, honestly, like I was saying to you earlier, I feel like I now know how you feel about feeling a little superhuman.
Sure.
And now that I'm single again, I feel like
that's brakes checking and a car crashing.
We'll get into it because you haven't heard this story. It's a bullshit.
I know.
Bullshit.
And newsflash, I'm fully single too.
I'm telling you, we should just go out and lick everything.
Fully single. We got antibodies and no significant others.
This feels dangerous. I don't know.
This is the start of the worst buddy comedy in history.
So I feel, it's a good time to be back on the market now that I feel I'm fearless.
Fearless is a good thing to be. You know what makes me feel fearless?
What?
When our listeners do things like rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast.
Yeah.
Guys, I know I do this to you every week, but I'm going to do it right now. If you could do one thing for us, whether you've done it before, if you did it a year ago, you can do it every year. So you can go back and redo it. That may not even be true. I'm just trying to trick them.
Oh, okay.
So just go and try to do it. Go to
Or if
Apple.
you're like TJ, you have 8 different fake accounts, you can just use those.
I don't know what you're talking about. I do not have any fake accounts at all. But if you do happen to have 8 fake accounts, you should take all of them to Apple Podcasts. Check out Menage-A-Pod on there. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you give us a rating, 5 stars only. And if you could write a review saying how much you love us both, we'd appreciate that too.
Yeah. Please do.
Yeah, because we don't ask much.
For Christmas. That's what you guys can do for us for Christmas.
And since we're both single and COVID safe, you know what else they can do for me for Christmas?
Blowjob. Little blowy action.
Little bajay.
Oh. Also, technically, aren't you Jewish? What was that story? You should also be getting Hanukkah presents. That's true. I was
bar mitzvahed in a corporate office at 34 years old.
Thank you. So you get 8 days of presents and Christmas. You get both.
Showing my lack of cultural awareness right now. I don't know.
And 8 crazy nights from that Adam Sandler movie.
That's the Festival of Lights.
It's literally all I can hear playing in my brain right now.
I actually can play. It's easy, but I can play it and sing a pretty solid Adam Sandler. Do the whole song on the guitar.
Please do not. Oh, interesting. You may have to edit that into.
I can do that.
Yeah,
sure. That sounds like a winning idea.
Yep. So what's going on with you?
Well, I mean, it's been an eventful couple of weeks, eventful couple of months, honestly.
Yeah. Wait, before we go into your thing.
Sure.
Can I just give a shout out to our former guests?
Sure.
Who have been killing it lately?
Give a shout out to anyone you want. That's what Menage-A-Pod's about, guys. We use our platform to pump everybody. So if you got something going on, let us know.
So I would just like to say we knew them first before they became big time people.
Of course.
Right? Well, that's not true. I think they probably were big time first and we just got lucky. But our good old friend Case Kenny from, what was his episode called? Pursuit of Happiness.
It was, yep.
He was great on our show. Anyway, he was on our, what would you call them? I was going to say protege, but that's not right.
They are our muse.
They're our muse, yes. Exactly. Our muse podcast that we would aspire to be, which we sort of
bite their style a bit.
Yeah, modeled our podcast off of. Girls Gotta Eat. He was on that last week or 2 weeks ago.
And the only difference is whereas we get like a few thousand downloads a week, they get like literally 1 million a week.
Yeah, they're fucking huge. Yeah. They do live shows. They tour. I mean, they have like crazy merch. They're like legit. This is what they do for a living.
Well, and that's our second tie to Girls Gotta Eat now too. Because remember, Zach opened for them.
That's true. Very, very true. So, want to give a big shout out to him. But I remembered, I don't know if you remember this, but like before he came on, he made a couple jokes about how it's not really on brand for him because we were a little raunchy and out there. And
I'm offended.
And then I was like, well, we'll tone it down. It'll be fine. He's like, no, I want you guys to be true yourselves. And I was like, no, you don't. So we did tone it down a little bit, I think. But then I thought.
He actually said some wilder.
He did.
He was talking about like how he was able to get to a point in his dating life where he realized it was not smart to sleep with sisters. Do you remember that? I think that ended up being the opener.
Yes.
And I was like, wait, you needed a lesson to get to the bottom of that?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, please, that guy's so cute. He like probably gets late all the time. Anyway, and he just doesn't talk about it. It's not his brand. Anyway, I thought, holy shit, when I saw that he was on Girls Gotta Eat, I was like, oh, please. And he was worried about us. Those girls are raunchy. And within like I think the opener, she was talking about giving blowjobs and how Raina loves to give a blowjob. And I was like, okay, we're off the rails already.
Who do you think has slept with more of their listeners, Raina or me?
Oh, wow, that's a toss-up. I would have to say you, but I'm going to guess that her people. I don't think it's her listeners she sleeps with. It's a guest she sleeps with.
I think she sleeps with some listeners too.
You
though.
do?
Yeah.
Well, they have like a primarily female audience.
When we went and saw them, there were a couple other good-looking guys in the crowd that were straight males.
That were alone or with their girls?
Hey, whatever. They're in the audience.
Besides you were like, but we were there for a reason. We were there doing recon.
Yes, doing recon, and I was willing to absolutely sleep with Raina if that's what it took.
You were.
I remember when we were about to meet him, and Gena was like, "All right, TJ, look." If she's interested in whatever you're working with at all, and you think we can leverage that to a better launch for our podcast, I'm going to need you to take one for the team. So to the woman I was dating at that point, I'm sorry, but Gena wanted me to sleep with Raina.
Did I say that? I don't remember that part.
You did.
Oh, I did?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not sorry. We didn't. She gone, so it's fine.
She gone.
The other person I wanted to give a shout out to is, I don't know if you guys remember Love McPherson's episode.
Tough Talk on Toxic Relationships with Love McPherson.
Is that what it was?
Yep.
And she was so... The listeners didn't see this, but TJ, you probably remember, she like zeroed in on me and like my marriage and then my family, and then basically was like picking it apart. I got so nervous and sweaty.
I had to
tighten. I literally had to excuse myself from the table. I was so uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable because it was real and it was genuine, and she was absolutely correct in everything she said. But whew, that hurt. Anyway, apparently, so last week on her Instagram, she mentioned how she has, I guess, been like leaving town a lot. And the whole reason she was there was because she was helping 2 people from the Real Housewives of Atlanta on their marriage and their relationship. I don't watch the show, so I don't know who they are.
Drew Sidora and Ralph Pittman.
Sure. I don't know who those people are. Do you? Are they famous outside of the Housewives?
I don't believe that they are, but even being famous within the sphere of only the Housewives is still fucking famous.
No, it's huge. I'm so excited for her. So I guess she's going to, I don't know, I guess she's going to be on the show. So that's awesome for her. I'm really excited to hear that. Anyway, I just, feel like we've had some pretty good guests, and I think that just goes to show you. Yeah,
she is going to be on the show for season 6, actively working as their therapist, essentially.
That's awesome.
Or not their therapist, but their counselor. And so you should give her a follow on Instagram. It's love_McPherson, McPherson. And she does also do like virtual sessions. So if you want to book a couples or individual virtual session, you can visit her at lovemcpherson.com or check her out on Instagram.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I am clearly single, but I think she also does something for single people.
Single as a motherfucking Pringle up in her.
Really? Seriously. But I think she does something
like the Pringles can that I tried to use as a condom in 4 episodes ago in the opener.
Wow. I do think she does things for single people, but I don't know what they are. Because I remember her mentioning it on the show. So anyway,
she gives them bags of coal.
Look into it because she's awesome. And honestly, even the advice she was giving me, like even though it was hard to hear and made me uncomfortable uncomfortable. She was so like warm and genuine and lovely when she was giving the advice that I actually felt bad for feeling uncomfortable because I feel like she was being so kind.
The other thing is, so the kids in the street nowadays, they would call that being read to filth. I didn't even know it was a thing till just recently.
What does that mean?
It's like when someone like breaks you down, cuts to the core of it, is like delicate, but doesn't really pull punches, gets to what's...
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah. And in that vein, did you see T Swift dropping a new album at midnight last night?
I saw it.
I didn't listen to any of it, but every woman I know was posting about the emotional journey they were about to go on. I mean, I saw it constantly, Jenna.
Yeah, no, I saw it too in my news feed. I didn't even listen to the other album that she dropped this year.
Oh, I wouldn't listen to any of it ever at any point. But I understand that she is a person that exists in the zeitgeist, and all the kids out there are paying attention to her.
I mean, my sister made the joke that, and she's not on TikTok, so she wouldn't know, but I've seen this joke on TikTok a lot where she literally called me one day and she was like, okay, so the year I get a divorce, Taylor Swift drops a fucking album. That's like heartbreaking. She's like, I've literally listened to it on repeat, like the worst timing or best, I can't tell.
Oh yeah, I saw a post last night. It said Taylor Swift dropping a new album at midnight. You can find me laying in a fetal position being emotionally eviscerated.
Yeah, I
didn't realize that she was like the voice of a generation.
I don't listen to her, so I'm the wrong person to ask. I mean, I will like if she comes on like a mix, right? Like a Spotify mix, like pop, whatever. But I don't really seek her out.
Do you know what I do when she comes on my Spotify mix?
You skip it.
I'm like, why the fuck is this coming on my mix? I don't listen to anything like this garbage. God damn.
Well, sometimes I just listen to like the top 100 pop songs or whatever it is.
Yeah,
whatever
when you're getting in your minivan to take your dog to its soccer practice.
No, when I do my workout, because it just like it's all upbeat.
Sure. Oh, of course. Of course.
It's got it's got good energy. Anyway, okay, so that's all I wanted to say. Everyone else. Still, you guys are still great, even though you're not on the Real Housewives or Girls Gotta Eat. We also appreciate you as well.
We do. I appreciate all of you.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially those of you who continue to listen and continue to screenshot support. I know that we've been a little hit or miss in our release schedule these last couple months. I hope COVID for sure. We are not super comfortable releasing like low quality audio episodes. We have an episode in the can that we really like that we recorded with a Chicago comedian named Matt Brown. I'm trying to fix the audio. If we can't, we're going to re-record when we can be safe with him. Although now we're both antibody, but still got to be careful. Yeah. So I think on the interim here, we're going to be dropping episodes that are probably just going to be Gena and myself.
You're welcome.
Chemistry wise, they're the
seriously.
I mean, we have guests that are great, and and I would say most of our best episodes are episodes where the guest is good and really drives the narrative. But I would say most of our 2-person episodes are good. Yeah, they're not like our best, but none of them are bad because our banter is good, our chemistry is good. Sure. Yeah, I think it's a good thing that we never had sex, Jenna, because if I'd been inside you, I don't think I could like talk to you the way that I have to talk to you for this podcast to be effective.
Okay. Keep going.
What were we even talking about?
I was going to ask how you were doing.
Oh, okay.
How are things with you? What's going on?
Okay, well, a lot of things are happening. Yeah. A lot of things are happening. So we teased it a little bit that we are both single.
Yeah.
So,
Womp.
Yeah, I know the narrative for me, and I know the timeline. If there are women out there listening who are like from my past and or my friends and or trying to be a part of my future, and they think these timelines don't line up, totally overlook that. No, I just mean that because it's like ambiguous. I'm not always talking about actively what my situation is on the podcast. So I think sometimes when people hear me like, when there's a period of indecision, I'm not going to be publicizing that.
Sure.
So it's like, yeah, I'm not technically in a relationship, but I'm engaging in something with someone that I was like caring about. So I was like minimizing what that was for the purposes of this. And a lot of people just are like, oh, he's unattached. Well, that was not the case. I was dating someone for a while. We broke up, rejoined in sort of a situationship, and now we've closed the door on that. It's like done. And it's been a little rough because we were very close friends, and that aspect is seemingly over as well. But nothing like negative to say about her. Felt honestly, in terms of for a short relationship, learned a lot about myself. I feel pretty good about like being back out there, and I am back out there.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I actually liked her. I'm bummed that didn't work out, but I'm pretty sure I said when you guys got into situationship, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? You're going to get hurt.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I tell people all the time, I've only been in love twice in my life, and both of those women broke up with me twice each this year.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling great about that. But you know what? Honestly, and the first couple of weeks, I was like barely functional. But then there was just like a day that the switch flipped and I feel better. And then,
Good.
you know, other positive things are happening. And throughout this whole time, I've been really like focusing on self, like staying healthy, working out, eating better. I'm like, I literally, if I lose 2 more pounds, this is the least I've weighed since 4th grade.
Wow.
I weigh 190. I weighed 188 as a 9-year-old. I was a fucking giant. But staying kind of fit, working out, like doing my thing. And then also, I know everyone knows I have that social media thirst, and I had my little, I don't know if I mentioned like going kind of viral on LinkedIn, but I did.
No, I didn't even, is that a thing?
I mean, it got 200,000 views. 200,000 views.
I feel like only you would think about going viral on LinkedIn.
I don't, because as it was happening, like at least 30 other people who interacted with it or private messaged me, that was the terminology they used.
That's so funny. I would never think to apply those words to.
It's a social media platform.
No, I know.
And in a span of a week, 200,000 people interacted with it. And now I'm just a dude with 500 connections on LinkedIn. Yeah. But the fallout of that was I had a ton of job interviews and I just got a job offer.
That's the biggest news here.
No more unemployment. So
thank goodness.
I can finally move to the city because it pays me way more than I've ever made in my life.
Great. And it's in the city.
In the city, in the Wrigley building, which is like the most beautiful building ever. Mm-hmm. I'm totally single, ready to go.
I know. Too bad we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Once this pandemic is over, or as long as I keep testing positive for these antibodies every couple weeks.
Yeah. How often do I have to do that? Like,
it depends. I do it every other week.
You do?
Oh, yeah. Just to make sure that I'm still rocking them. Because they said that you initially would hear, oh, you can only have them for 3 months. Well, I haven't tested
90
positive.
days. Yeah, that's what I had heard.
But I haven't tested positive for the actual virus since like the last week in May. Mm-hmm. And I've been testing positive for antibodies since like the second week in June.
Oh, interesting.
And like consecutively. Like I literally just got tested last Friday and I still have them. So we good. We Gucci over here.
I mean, that's awesome that it's lasting so long.
Yeah. My super immunity, apparently. It's the COVID.
Yeah.
It's the COVID cum. I can cure anyone. You want to be inoculated?
No. But thanks. I'm good. I'm good now. So
I didn't mean you.
Oh. I was like,
that was a rhetorical question.
I'm good.
Nah, man. You know what I mean? Nah.
Well, that's exciting.
Jenna, I have a question for you that's not really life related. You use Spotify, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see your Spotify end of the year wrap up?
I didn't look at it. It was probably all podcasts.
You don't listen to any music on it? You use
like very rarely. I'll listen on my Alexa.
I would even be interested to see who your most listened to podcast is.
Can I see it now?
Yeah.
It's probably a true crime one. It's probably not even ours because I'm terrible.
Mine was ours.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so nice. No, I mean, I listen to ours once a week, but I was, but I binged, I had like 3 new ones. Okay. So I feel like those probably get ranked higher because they're all new and I just like binged them. Sure. Right. Like as opposed to just listening to ours, like when they come out. I don't know. I don't even know how to find it, but I'm going to guess it's probably a true crime podcast or a ghost one because I've gotten really into those lately.
Sure.
Which I shouldn't because now I'm afraid to sleep with the lights off.
You know, a true crime podcast, I love them. They're my favorite genre, but I only like deep dives. Like I want ones where it's like this season covers a single crime. I don't want none of this episode for one crime because 60 minutes does not give me all the information I need about something.
That's true. Some of these are long. Some of these can be 2 hours.
But even that, it's like 2 hours versus 14 episodes. I'd rather have 14 episodes.
I guess that's true. Oh. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm glad you agree with me.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't have the attention. Is this our new note for 2021 that we're going to agree about things?
Let's not jinx it.
We agreed about one thing today already.
What's that?
That I look way better with a beard.
Oh yeah, we did agree about that. That's true. Very, very true.
So you're single now too. Did we talk about that in the last episode of the podcast?
We did not.
Oh, what's going on there?
I don't know how much I can get into. Sure. I know he's not listening. I don't want to trash talk him, but he did me dirty. Pretty much. So, every once in a while, remember, like, this isn't the first time. We actually had talked about this in one of the episodes, and then the episode didn't record. And then when we re-recorded, we didn't put it back in. But you know what I'm talking about? How, like, he disappeared. So, like, he would do this thing where he would get overwhelmed with life and just sort of, like, disappear for 2 days. And I wouldn't know where he was going. What happened again, it happened again. Everything was like great. So he had asked me to go to Jamaica with him, which is where he's from. I couldn't get my passport in time because it was stolen. Remember my whole wallet bullshit? It was stolen and I didn't have a replacement yet because like, why would I wasn't going anywhere? And then COVID hit. And then once COVID hit, it was like everything was closed. So I couldn't get it rush ordered and I couldn't get it in time. So we ended up going. Anyway, so at that point, I was supposed to meet like his extended family. So like things were getting serious. And then I don't fucking know. I don't know what happened. Like literally 2 weeks later, it was around my birthday. He disappeared. Saturday. My birthday was on a Monday. Saturday night, we had talked all week, Saturday up till Saturday night. Sunday, he was gone, nowhere to be found. Monday was my birthday.
You didn't hear from him on your birthday?
Nowhere to be found. Not on my fucking birthday. After like 6 months of dating. And he told me he loved me. So like that's bullshit. Right? So then
Man, I would be salty as fuck about that. I don't blame you.
I was like
shit.
heartbroken. And I was also concerned because he had COVID. And he was having some like breathing issues and stuff. And so he had just gone to a cardiologist. I was concerned for him. And then I was like, is he okay? Like, is he alive? Like, what's going on? I almost sent a wellness check. Instead, I made Daniel pick me up and we took a drive out to the suburbs. Now listen, before you give me that face, I didn't go all like crazy chick on him, but I was pissed. And
as you should have been.
Yeah. So he works he did a lot of things. He like flipped houses and stuff, but he also worked in a barber shop. And so he like owned his chair there. Anyway, whatever. I went to the barbershop because he's always there. He literally works all the time. And it was the only place I knew I'd be able to find him. So we went to the shop and he was the only person in there and he sat down his client and I like walked in and his face just like drained of color and his eyes got really big. And I was like, hey, I just like stood there and I was like, hey, and he like looks at his client. He's like, can you give me a second? And I was like, you were in so much trouble. And we like walked outside to talk and then we hashed it out. And I don't want to get into why, but like just feeling overwhelmed again, blah, blah. So my thing is I take depression and mental health very seriously. So if somebody tells me,
what's that like?
If somebody like tells me that there's an issue, right? Like I try to be cognizant of it, right? Especially if we're dating or if I care about you. And so I kept saying like, look, this is obviously something that is a problem and not a problem, but it's something that you're working on. He was going back to therapy. So like, there's that. And I was like, I am on board to work through this with you. Like what you did was really fucking shitty because at some point because he was like, I haven't gone to work in 4 days. And I was like, I mean, so you picked up your phone to tell your clients you couldn't come and you couldn't wish me a fucking happy birthday? Yeah, bullshit. So yeah, bold, right? Like, and then, so how do you—
This motherfucker talking shit.
Come back from that, okay? I let him come back from that. And because I was like trying to be kind and I was trying, and I was like, look, I understand.
If I was close enough to you, I would just knock on your forehead and be like, is anyone home?
Well, here's the thing. Again, like depression, I don't mess, whatever. Like I don't want to walk away from somebody if that's a thing, right? Like let's figure out how to work on it together. Let's move forward. And I was very clear with like my ask. And he kept going, this isn't about you. And I'm like, but it is actually. Like, I understand this is your shit, but your shit affects me. And so if it does, and we're a couple, we need to work on it together, right? I was trying to be healthy. I was trying to do all the therapy things I remembered from my divorce. And, I was trying to be kind. And then everything was fine for 2 weeks. And then he disappears again. And I had said to him, like the last conversation we had, I was like, listen, I'd like to spend a little bit more time with you. And quite honestly, I wanted him to rise to the occasion. I wanted him to—
Is that a boner joke?
No, I wanted him to like know that he fucked up, which I think he did, but then he didn't like try to like compensate for it, right? He wasn't like—
I've been in that position where I know I fucked up, but I either didn't care.
Well, that's what it felt like.
Yeah. Or even like maybe the fuck up was strategic and intentional.
Totally.
Like,
maybe. Then like don't call me again after
Sure.
that conversation. Like we could just break up.
The brutal psyche of the man.
It's so weird. So we disappeared. So I had just said to him like, hey, would love to like see you this weekend. Like I feel like we have some like work to do, but it would be just really nice to spend some time with you. And I didn't hear from him. Well, actually I did. He goes, sorry, I was working. And I was like, so he ignored my emotion and my like,
easy to do.
right? And then didn't respond. So I didn't respond because I was like, the fuck do I say to that? So then I didn't hear from him again for like 3 days. And I sent a text message. This was like a Saturday night. And I was like, hey, listen, would love to have this conversation with you in person, but it doesn't seem like that's happening. I don't know what's going on. I just think you and I clearly approach relationships differently. And I can't continue to do this. It's not serving the purpose that I want. Right? I was very kind about it. I even used a heart emoji. I wasn't mean. I've not heard from him. He didn't even respond.
That was
end of October. That would have been like beginning of November.
I just want to like send him a telegram that says, "Bro, don't you listen to the podcast? You got to communicate.
Got to communicate. Like even if it's like you're right, or thanks for understanding, or I can't
even
do this
communicating
right
an
now.
ending.
That's what I'm saying. Like you date someone for any amount of time, there deserves to be a level of respect for the person and what you had.
That's the shit I would pull on someone that I'd gone on like one date with.
Thank you. That's my point. And then that motherfucker I saw on Facebook was in Jamaica. So I was like, I'm sorry. We were still together. Were you not telling me that you were going to Jamaica? Like, what the serious fuck? So, and I haven't heard from him. He literally hasn't responded. It's like I didn't even exist.
That's wild. Yeah. That is wild. Yeah. I don't know holy fuck. The lack of like emotional maturity and.
It was crazy. But he wasn't always like that. Like,
sure.
That's what was
and
so
I don't know him at all.
me.
I like never even met him because this all obviously happened during the pandemic, but that blows my mind. It's funny. So I've gone on 2 dates in the last like month, and I know I'm real fond on this podcast of saying that I've never had a bad date. I say that all the time.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that either of these dates were bad dates, but I'm fairly certain both these people were bad people.
Oh, well,
like,
yeah.
hot damn, man. This one girl, we had flirted on Instagram on and off like over a year. Like whenever I was single, Instagram flirting happened constantly. Real pretty, tall, leggy, blonde, like gorgeous woman. I had concerns that our political beliefs might not match up. Her family's from like South Indiana, and there's like a lot of like guns and American flags on our Instagram feed, which, hey, I love America. I own a gun, but you get what the imagery I'm talking about. So after kind of just ducking and diving each other for months and months and months, we finally go on a date. We go to Volo, which is
I like that place.
Adorable. Yeah. And had a great night. I was actually like surprised how good of a night I had. She was gorgeous in person, super well dressed. The chemistry was good. She actually asked me to go to a second location, which I was like shocked by because I was like, I don't know if she's into it. We texted hard the next day. Then all of a sudden I see in her Instagram stories a picture of she's like clearly in for the night, like reading a book, and there's like a candle and a book and like a glass of wine. And it says a little Saturday night reading, and it is Candace Owens' book. Do you know who Candace Owens is? Okay, Candace Owens is a social media personality and political figure. She is a young black woman who is extremely conservative. Her most recent book has some pretty charged racial tones in it. She was a big Trump supporter.
Okay.
Not a great person, and all like literally any friend that you and I have in common that is black, that is Hispanic, that is a minority of any kind, they all hate her. Like she's not a super popular person. And this woman who I was like, oh, I bet she believes some wild shit. Oh, now she's reading this. So the name of this book, Candace Owens' book, is Breakout: How Black American Can Make Its Second Escape from the Democrat Plantation.
Wow.
She is terrible, for sure. So I see you reading
was
this.
Was the date terrible? Like the date itself?
The date was fine.
Yeah.
But there was not like any sort of like depth to the connection.
Got it.
Beyond just like two people drinking wine and eating food. And it was like a fun environment. And I'm okay looking and she's very pretty. And we were just like vibing. But I just responded to the story and I was just like, that lady's garbage. She was like, don't tell. She's like, why don't you tell me how you really feel? I was like, I literally just did that. She is garbage. And she's like, I don't generally talk about my political beliefs, which is like, I feel like that's a fairly privileged, like pretty white lady thing to say. And she's like, I'm just trying to educate myself. And I was just like, well, you have picked the wrong book. And I unfollowed her and unfriended her on Facebook. When she realized that I unfollowed her, she blocked me. She talked a little shit and then blocked me, which I felt, I was like, I'm satisfied with that decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then shorter version, second date I go on, date's fine. She actually knew Katie, previous guest.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
And she knew, I actually knew her aunt through a weird
Random.
stretch. Yeah. Go on this date. The date is mostly this woman talking about like how much she does not get along with her family. Particularly this aunt I know. The next day, 2 days later, 3 days later, and the date's fine. She sends me a nice message the next day. Katie comments on my Facebook, and I say, oh, hey, funny story. I actually went on a date with a girl that you know. Apparently, you went to like grade school, junior high, high school with her. And she's like, oh, who? So I said this woman's name in my Facebook status. I wake up the next morning at 5:30 a.m. to a text message from this woman, and it says, please delete my name from the comments saying that you went on a date with me on your Facebook. And we're not Facebook friends. I don't know who tipped her off or why apparently it's seen as like a terrible outcome for people to know that you've gone on a date with me. I'm going to put it out here right now, ladies. If you are an attractive woman and you have either gone on a date with me or you are potentially considering going on a date with me, you are not in select company. So don't feel bad that you've gone on a date with me. Like, what the literal fuck?
Conversations like these really make me wish that we YouTubed our shit because my face, like people need to see this interaction. It's not the same when you don't see the facial expressions and the way that I look at you when you tell stories. Like,
can you please delete my name off of the Facebook comments you posted saying that we went out? And I said, deleted, one-word response. Now, our date was 2 or 3 days earlier. In the 2 days since then, she was still liking all of my Instagram posts, watching all of my stories. Within 10 minutes of this exchange, blocked me.
I mean,
that's wild.
I don't block well, that's not true. The guy that called me the C word, I blocked. But other than that, it's
cheesy?
not really. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Cutie?
Yes. Better. But yeah, that's it. Like, I don't really get in, like, even if I had like a weird date with someone, I don't know if I do. I mean, unless they were mean people, like, I don't know. I don't care. Date.
Oh, yeah. And then there's
and then.
And then. That's such a stupid movie, but holy fuck. Did I ever tell you the story about that?
No.
It's so off topic, but why not?
Tell me.
So when I was married, my wife's brother and his wife had a child. We were in their like hospital in Chicago, and his father-in-law brought him White Castle. I hadn't had White Castle in like a fucking decade, and I was like, I got to get White Castle on the way home. So driving back to the South Burbs, we get off the highway, go to White Castle. I'm in the drive-thru. The minute the guy starts speaking at the takeout window, you can tell he's coming with a little extra energy. He's just like, hey there, welcome to White Castle. Thanks for joining us tonight. What can I get for you today, sir? And I'm just like, I look at my now ex-wife and I like look back and I'm like, can I have like 4 bacon cheeseburgers? And he's like, and then, and I went, order chicken rings. And he's like, and I see where it's going. So
yeah.
He's like, and then, and I'm like, give me a large Coke. And he's like, and then, and I was like, no, and then. He's like, and then, and I just like, now I'm like, no, and then, I'm like screaming into the box. And now I look at my wife and she looks.
Does she know what's going on?
Fucking terrified. She has no clue. And she, I mean, like literally is just like, you are insane. And I just look at her. I'm like, look, we're gonna see how this interaction goes to the window. When we leave, there's a YouTube clip you got to watch. So I get to the window and this dude is happy as fuck. Like, I don't know how many times he's done that. Probably. And you know what? He was a guy I probably would say like young 30s, tall, good looking. Like, it was very weird that I was like, why is this dude working at the White Castle?
Yeah.
Whatever. No shame in any job.
Maybe he owned it.
Could have. But he was like, so he's interacting with me and I was like, bro, you got to know, this is like the highlight of my day. I was like, my wife doesn't even know what this is from. I can't wait. And he's just cracking up. So then gives me all the food and he's holding on to my drink. And at White Castle, their large is a 44 ounce. Mm-hmm. And he like, and now people who don't know me or maybe haven't seen me, I hope most of you have, stalk my Instagram, please, at Chicago Cafe Racer.
Jesus Christ.
I look like a cop.
Oh, I could see that.
Like, I've heard it a lot in my life.
Oh, interesting.
Like, bearded.
I can see that.
Now I look like an undercover cop. Normally I just look like a cop, but I always look kind of cop-like. I'm tall, I have broad shoulders, I stand up straight, I'm mostly polite. It's very cop-like, you know.
Sure.
So, dude looks out the window at me. He's holding the drink with 2 hands, and he like leans out, he looks left, and he looks right, and he goes, are you a cop? And I'm like,
you're like, why is there weed in this bag?
Well,
Like,
I went, no, why? And he looked left and looked right again and then shoves the drink at me and goes, here's 44 ounces of Coke. Go, 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 go. It was like the best drive-through experience I've ever had in my fucking life.
That's funny.
Derail. This episode's gonna be disjointed, but whatever.
It's good. It's good. It's been a minute. I mean, I don't really have anything else to say. That's my life lately, and I feel like
I got one more.
Tell me.
Okay, so there has been. Okay, so I am on the apps. I'm having some good conversations. There are some like cuties in the periphery, around lingering, but. There's actually someone that I've been talking to fairly consistently.
Yeah.
That lives far away and I've never met in person. And she's not a podcast fan.
Oh, you mentioned this.
I did. So, friend of the pod and friend of TJ, Jasmine. We talk all the time. She's definitely one of my closer friends. This girl is one of her best friends and she lives in Florida. And Jasmine was in Florida and we were video chatting. And this girl for like 3 days was just kind of around while we were video chatting. Then one day we just started chatting ourselves on Instagram and now it's like literally we haven't video chatted in a couple of days. We were video chatting like every night for like 2 weeks, talking constantly. I'm considering actually going to Florida to meet her.
You should test out those antibodies.
I got the antibodies and I got a job that I don't start till January 4th. So I got nothing but time.
Do it now. You're right. Do it now.
You know what? I had tickets I was supposed to leave today.
What? You could do it.
Do you know how much round trip tickets to Orlando are?
Probably nothing.
It was like $70.
Yeah, I know. My mom keeps trying to get me to come visit her in Sarasota, but I sort of refuse. I actually asked Josh, good old GQ50 hottie McHatterson. I was like, so like how, because he's been traveling like crazy. And I was like, how are the airports there? Like, should I feel safe? And he said it actually hasn't picked up that much, but I don't believe that because I heard that Thanksgiving was like the busiest travel that they've seen all year. Like it was bananas. So I don't know. Like I know I have them, but I always have this antibodies. But I have this fear like of going to my parents and somehow bringing it to my parents. I don't even know how that's
that would
possible,
be weird too,
like,
especially since for as bad as it is in Chicago, it's way worse in Florida.
Way worse in Florida. I know. My mom. Well, so I was pissed at her because they were supposed to drive here for Christmas so that we weren't alone, and that nobody had to fly, and they have a car. And I was like trying to make it nice and was like, "You guys, I'll just put you in a nice hotel. Like it'll be fine. We could like make a whole thing out of it. And your drive, like I know it's long, but like split it up and stop somewhere fun like Tennessee or I don't fucking know, whatever." And they were like, yeah. And then the number spiked and now they won't come. But I'm pretty sure, I'm 99% sure. And I know based on these two comments that this is the reason. So like my mom blamed it on the spike and said she didn't feel safe, but I really think it's because she's going to be bored because there's nothing open. Like I can't go to a restaurant with her and she's certainly not sitting outside in this weather. So like she's afraid that she's going to be stuck in my house the whole time and like have nothing to do.
Which sounds like my personal fucking hell.
Well, fuck you. She's my
Unless
mom.
you're paying for strippers and blow, I don't want any part of that.
There's a lot of things we can do. We can watch movies. I haven't seen them in a year. We have a lot to catch up on.
Wait. I see the beginnings of comedy gold here. You just said there's a lot of things we can do. We can watch movies. Okay, what else? What's that list?
We can catch up because I haven't seen them in so long.
Sure,
they were going to come early. We were going to get a Christmas tree and decorate it. But in order to decorate it, I need to also go run all the fun errands of like picking out, ornaments and stuff because I left all those behind.
You can't Grubhub that shit?
No. And then DJ and Joe are here for the holidays, so we could have had like a big Christmas dinner. Joe could have cooked. Like there's a lot of stuff. We could have had a very nice time.
You could have COVID corridored it for sure.
Yes. And she just didn't want to do it. And then but she blamed it on COVID. And then when she told me that I have the antibody, when I told her I had the antibodies, first thing was, oh, so you're going to fly here for Christmas. And I was like, actually, no, I'm not. Because like, fuck you. Like, there's not now in principle. It's like, you're okay with me going there and potentially like bringing something to you. I don't know how that works. How does that work? I guess if I have the antibodies, can I give it to her?
No, if you have the antibodies, you can't.
I can't get it, but I can't give it because I can't get it.
No, because you don't have the antibodies until you no longer are positive for the virus.
Right.
So if you have the antibodies, you don't have the virus.
Got it. Okay. Well, regardless, I was pissed. And I was like, Mom.
And this episode of Infectious Disease Specialties with TJ and Gena.
Anyway, so I'm here. I'm here for Christmas. I think, we're
This
going to do
Christmas, I
Yeah.
give you my heart.
Oh my God. We're going to do You know what's funny? I actually said the other night to a guy who is apparently a DJ. I was like,
I'm
do you
sure
know
he's
who
a great
Wham
guy.
is? And he was like, don't know who Wham is. And I was like, what?
Wait, is he
you are a DJ?
Is he a DJ for junior high students? Because Wham.
No, he's like at a bar or some shit. I don't fucking know. Dating apps. What are you going to do?
Really, Jenna? DJs? Why don't I start dating a
No,
bottle
he has
service?
a real
Why don't I
job.
start dating a bottle service girl? Wait,
He has
I
a real-
would do that.
He has a real job, a big job, actually.
let me get-
It's just a side gig that he does for fun because he enjoys music and blah, blah.
Actually, now that I got a better job, I'm ready to step my game up for the stratosphere of women I'm working with.
Yeah. Oh my God. Imagine all the potential now.
Well, I think about like a lot of some of the best opportunities I've had in life dating wise, I've backed away from because I've been like, oh, this woman's like got it together and I'm still like getting it together. But now I feel slightly more established suddenly.
Look at you.
The world is my oyster.
Really. It's looking up for you. 2021.
Run, women.
It's going to be a good year for you.
Hey, my group chat, shout out to Julie, Robin, and Josh. They said today, 2021 is the year of TJ.
That sounds awesome. I want a year of Jenna. Actually, I'm not.
I feel like it's mostly been a life of Jenna. You've had like maybe 2 or 3 rough years, but the rest of it's not been that horrible.
I know you're right. It really hasn't been. It's funny. It's funny you say that because I honestly, yesterday I was talking to my sister and I was like, I just was saying like, I feel like I have to do more to give back because I feel like I've been very fortunate, especially this year where everyone's having a really rough year. A lot of people don't have jobs and everything, but because I work in social media, it's been like bananas. So, I just feel really, really lucky. I do. And I recognize it. But because of it, then it's why I want to give back because then, I'm sure there are people who need it. Like last night I was talking to Catherine. She was like, I was like, you know what I think I should do? And she's like, what? I was like, I should make a donation to Planned Parenthood every year in my mother's name.
Oh, for
and
sure.
then send it to my mother, the very, very conservative. Yeah. And be like, Mom, here's your Christmas present. P.S. Thanks for not coming this year. Is that a dick move? I don't know.
I think it's a power move. Power move or psycho. We're calling it a power move.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway.
So before we wrap things up, just a couple last pieces of housekeeping. I have an idea, Jenna. I want to get back to like adding like kind of segmenting the podcast a bit and having a game that like
I love a game.
A game, some sorts of like segments that are recurring that are make it a little easier to kind of generate content, but also I don't want to give any specifics because we're still in the negotiation phases of it. But there, guys, if you like Menage-A-Pod podcast, if you like TJ, if you like Jenna, if you like what we do, if you find yourself coming back each week, if you're listening to the pod, if you're buying the merch and you can't get enough of us, first thing you can do is follow me on Instagram at Chicago Cafe Racer.
You are so thirsty.
The second thing you can do, is just be on the lookout.
What about me? Why don't you
yours
shout
is
out
private.
my Instagram? Well, that's fine. Then I can accept them to be my friends.
Jenna, GenaGrish. Jenna Grish. Yeah, that's how it works. You accept them to be your friends.
Yeah.
And she's not doing anything super exciting behind the closed doors, but the privacy, I get it. It gives it a velvet rope appeal, so I'm there for that.
Well, don't tell them. You just gave it away that there's nothing exciting going on.
OnlyFans. That's where sure good content is.
Well,
but
that's next year.
There are some content creators in the city that we are very, very close with. Several people that are connected to them tangentially in previous projects and in projects they're working on currently have been on our show. Just a great group of people. And we are in the early stages of coming up with a few new avenues to bring you additional TJ, additional Jenna, and additional TJ and Jenna together.
Yeah, there's going to be so much of us. You guys aren't going to know what to do with yourselves.
And like from my point of view,
holidays.
I'm so stoked about it because, if there's one thing I know the world needs, it's more of both of us.
This is true.
And I love the people that we're potentially going to be collaborating with. And I've seen some of the other artists that they're like taking on board. Yeah. And there's a comedian they just announced a relationship with yesterday who I really like. I love, great dude, super funny. So I'm really excited to be a part of this.
I am too. I'm really excited. I'm still waiting for remember that psychic lady once told me that I'm supposed to be on a stage?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that to happen.
And the strip club's hiring. I don't
that kind of
think you have the
stage.
upper body strength for the pole,
Not
though.
that- I really don't. I have no upper body
I want to
strength.
see you.
I can do a push-up, but I cannot do a pull-up.
When
That's
I put
weird.
my pole video on Instagram, you talked shit about my fucking form.
No, I didn't.
No, actually, Sarah talked.
I would never talk shit
Sarah
about
talked
your
shit about my
form.
form, but you were the first person to like it, and you didn't like the post. And I was like, "Ooh, Jenna in here." And I remember responding in the comment and being like, "Hey, Sarah and Jenna, I guarantee you that my weak ass attempt at the pole is better than either one of you could do."
Yeah, I don't remember that, but that feels accurate.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
I'm bragging about my skills on the pole, apparently.
Yeah. Well, you were out of work for a year.
I was. No longer.
You had to do what you had to do,
Yeah, now I'm going to be
Get
pregnant.
that money.
Fuck. Yeah, then that's, the next step is the OnlyFans. This is all just like a marketing funnel to get you to look at pictures of my balls squeezed together.
Ooh.
Was that weird?
That's just ew. It's just like smushy.
That's just ew. Ooh, it's smushy.
Mm-mm.
All right. Well,
Don't do the low and slow when
think-
you're talking about your balls. That is just vomit in my mouth.
Okay.
Okay.
I think right now would be a good time to wrap this up. What do you think? Once again, thank you to Miles, the Menage-A-Pod dog, for hanging out on the table while we record this.
Yeah.
If you want to find out more about Menage-A-Pod, head on over to our Instagram at Menage-A-Podcast, where you will find our link tree that includes links to our Facebook group, website, merch store, and more. And a quick thank you to everyone who makes this show happen. This show in particular, just my lovely co-host Jenna
Oh, thanks.
and me, because I'm great.
You're great.
And you guys, because you keep listening. Thanks for that. Until next time, share us in your stories and find other ways to tell a friend about Menage-A-Pod. Keep your eyes out for our new shit, kids. It's coming to you soon.
shit.
Of course, good luck out there.
Bye.
Bye.